Let me present Alberto Prado, the head of R&D Digital and Partnerships at Unilever. He is at the forefront of digital transformation in research and development. As the global head of digital and partnerships at Unilever, he spearheads the utilization of data and AI for scientific breakthroughs, process engineering, and innovative business models. Previously as the mastermind behind the Digital Innovation Accelerator at Royal Philips, Alberto sparked a revolution of innovation and entrepreneurship. During that period he chaired the AI Council, providing oversight and guidance on company-wide AI-related investments in innovation. Having led the program that delivered the first wave of connected consumer products at Philips, Alberto is a true pioneer in the realm of IoT and groundbreaking business models. Let's give him a warm welcome.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. What an introduction. I should have recorded it and show it to my kids at home. So good afternoon, everyone. I hope you're keeping up with the energy because there's a party going on afterwards. It's a pleasure to be here. It's my first time to Bulgaria, Sofia. Thanks very much to the Webit organization for inviting me. I'll be talking to you in the next 15 minutes about how we are transforming the way we innovate at Unilever through the use of artificial intelligence. But before I go into the topic, let me share with you a message, because this really drives a lot of the direction of our innovation. And because it has become impossible to ignore the fundamental challenge that we face today as a society. And most of it boils down to the careful interplay and balance between three foundational building blocks: people, all of us, the planet, our home, and energy that we need to survive and prosper. So let's go one by one. People, in the last 100 years, we've doubled the size of the number of human beings living on this planet and doubled the life expectancy as well. And we heard this morning about extending it even further. Now that's good, but we're also exposed to a number of diseases as well as we grow older, right? It's leading to also healthcare gap at a global level and inequality of access to resources, all of which is leading to potentially social unrest and even geopolitical tension. If you go to energy, right, whether it is nutritional calories that we consume to survive, or fossil-derived fuels that we need to create materials for construction, or logistics, or transportation, we're depleting the earth without replenishing fast enough, and leaving irreversible damage potentially along the way. And finally, the planet, which is both our home and our single most important source of energy, is suffering the consequences of all of this in the form of global warming, climate change, loss of biodiversity, and collapse of complete ecosystems. Now, this is not a very rosy picture that I'm telling you, but it's a huge and hugely important burning platform for companies. Why am I telling you this? Because I believe, and we believe as a Unilever, that companies and R&D teams within those organizations have a great responsibility to design or redesign products and services, entire business models, and deliver groundbreaking science to innovate for both people and planet. And AI can play a huge role in that. Unilever has this very deeply embedded in our corporate strategy, in our vision. We want to become the global leader in sustainable business. We touch the lives of more than 3.5 billion people every day, and with that comes a great responsibility to innovate in as much a responsible way as we can. Now, that's for the intro. I'm also an optimist. I'm a true believer, and I think probably I'm surrounded by like-minded people as well. I'm a true believer in the role that science and technology can play in creating a better future. And we've all remember, probably very, very well still, it's very fresh in our minds, how the pharma industry was able to come up with a COVID-19 vaccine in months rather than years. Do you remember? The picture here is from Margaret Kennan. She was the first person in the West to be vaccinated. And the reason why all of this was possible is because there was huge access to large amounts of data, high-performance computing, and advanced analytics to be able to innovate in what we call in silico, virtually simulating the effect of interactions between molecules, and by doing so, accelerate massively, boost, basically, the whole drug discovery process. And this is just a glimpse of what we can expect going forward. Now, Innovating in a large consumer goods organization goes beyond what happens in the lab, of course. We look at the innovation process really end to end. And it starts with consumers and it ends with consumers. Predicting consumer market needs through early stage signals, translating those insights into a concrete set of requirements for R&D, then taking those requirements and design superior formulations, with bio-ingredients that can be combined to deliver the target properties, and then taking those specifications and seamlessly transferring those to manufacturing with minimal human intervention for manufacturing at no waste and net zero positive. Now, this is our vision for an end-to-end innovation in silico journey. And most of it is already possible today. We're doing big chunks of that already today. Because we have access to data, high-performance compute power, and AI, whether it is predictive analytics, molecular modeling, computational fluid dynamics, process flow simulations. These are all AI-powered techniques to help us move more and more activity from the physical domain into the digital space, where we can plan, design, optimize without friction, almost unconstrained. And then obviously delay as much as we can the shift back to the physical world, where we need to manufacture our product, but where we're also limited and constrained by the economics and the limitations of the physical world. Now let me zoom into this middle bit, which is where research happens, how we drive scientific discovery leveraging artificial intelligence. I'll give you 3 examples, and I hope it helps illustrate our journey. The first one is about, we as a large consumer goods organization, we have a broad range of interest in science and technology topics, and they go from alternative proteins, biotechnologies, new biodegradable materials, and so on. And the role that we in R&D play in all of this is largely reformulating existing products, formulating new products that deliver the best possible performance, both sensorial and functional performance, at the lowest possible cost, with the highest level of sustainability. And the only way to crack this, because these are vectors that are moving in opposite directions, is to zoom in at molecular level and design chemical and biological compounds that deliver across all of these 3 dimensions, for which we use absolutely a lot of AI-powered tools. Once we were able to design the structure of molecules, defines the physical and chemical properties of molecules, which in turn defines or dictates the effect that these molecules will have within a specific compound. The second, and by the way, a lot of that is about decarbonizing our formulations. Right? So we need to take the carbon out, we need to lead, if you like, the material transition that is taking place today, going from carbon fossil fuel-derived materials, chemistry, to carbon-free formulations. The second one is about the microbiome. I don't know how many of you know what the microbiome is, but basically you all have it. It's about the over 100 trillion microbes that are in your body, in your gut. They weigh about 3 kilograms, but you need them, right? Because they stimulate and protect the natural healing power of your skin. And we need to understand how to protect the microbiome, how to nourish it in all our skincare and shampoo products and so on. The way to do this, and the only way to do this at speed and scale, is to deep dive into about 12 terabytes of microbiome data that we've been able to gather over 20 years and understand what kind of unique insights we can derive from that data that can be then translated into competitive claims that can then go into products like Dove, Pond's, Vaseline, and so on. And the third one is an important one, which is about safety. Our products, either you eat them or you put them on your skin. They need to be safe. But they don't only need to be safe for you as a consumer, they need to be safe for the planet. So we use predictive analytics to be able to assess, for example, the future biodegradability of our formulations. What does that mean? That we don't have to wait 5 or 10 years to see what happens with the formulation. We're able to predict what will happen through computational models. And we're able then, as a result, to tweak formulations and make them safe for the planet. Equally, We also use computational models to assess the biological processes on your skin when exposed to certain chemicals in our skincare products, because we want to make sure that we avoid any adverse reactions, any intolerance when you use our skincare products. And we want to do that without any animal testing. We are super non-animal cruelty, no ingredients from animal sources. Our scientists are really true activists in that space. Now, these are 3 examples. There are many more, but it gives you a glimpse of the transformation that we're going through, because at the end of the day, scientists need to learn to spend less time in the physical labs dealing with probes and, for years and years until we come up with the right formulation, and more time in front of screens. And that in itself is not just only a technology challenge, it's a human challenge as well. We need to train, we need to change our ways of working, we need to understand how we best to leverage new technologies to do what we do better, faster, and more impactful. Now, the exciting thing here is that I think we're at the verge of a number of technological breakthroughs that, in my view, will boost the capabilities of all companies to deliver more responsible innovation. And I'm going to mention to you a few of them that are important from where I sit in the industry that will materialize in the coming years. The first one is about quantum computing. I think the use of quantum mechanics to boost our computational power is one of the most exciting things ahead. It will enable R&D teams to tackle bigger and more complex problems in science. It will not replace, it will rather enhance. It will work in hybrid architectures to do the heavy lifting on data-intense problems and then combine with high-performance computing for answers that require a higher level of precision. Next generation AI, foundation AI. I'm not going to talk too much about this because we heard about this a lot. Generative AI, general artificial intelligence, AI engines that you can apply to solve problems in very different domains without actually having to train over and over again, without any overhead costs. Generative AI that can actually design large molecules, for surfactants and polymers that we have in our product. That's super exciting. I think this combination of what we call next generation AI and quantum computing that will transform how companies do science and technology going forward. The next one is about hyper-automation. We heard also a little bit about that one today. Everything that can be automated in a business will be automated. Whether it's business operations already today, billing, customer service, digital robots, if you like, all the way to physical cobots in labs, in logistics, in manufacturing. Automation will sit at the intersection between the physical and the digital world. This will be AI-powered cobots. Intelligent cobots that can self-configure to execute physical processes at the highest possible level of precision, speed, and agility. We heard today cobots in the operation theater. There are cobots that we have implemented also in labs to do proper experimentation, to generate data to feed our models. This is already happening today and will continue to progress. And finally, the industrial metaverse. I'm specifically saying industrial metaverse and not just the metaverse, because I think the industrial metaverse is further ahead. I'm not talking necessarily about Web3 for now, but what I refer to industrial metaverse is the promise of managing complex systems, manage and run our physical assets, and optimize our business operations in ways that we have not been able to do before by virtualizing the physical asset into a digital twin. And we've seen already a number of digital twins being deployed across a number of companies and verticals. You just have to look at the share price of NVIDIA going through the roof, because this is something that is already happening today. There's a lot of promise there's a lot of potential still to go. But if we do this well, we have the possibility of running our physical operations in ways that, and collaborate with our industrial partners in ways that we had not thought before. Now, it's not any one single of these trends that is necessarily disruptive, it's the combination of all of these. Because all of these will materialize at different paces, but all together, they promise, in a way, to reinvent the way that consumers or the companies engage with consumers and drive innovation forward. Now, I'm aware that this is a little bit of could be a bit abstract, there's a bit of science fiction in it, and there's a long way to get there. Some of this is overhyped, possibly, but I wanted to give you an example, a very simple example, that illustrates how these technologies can come into play. And this is just an example. It's not real. It doesn't exist, but it could exist somewhere in the future. And it starts with trust. And trust is a word that I haven't mentioned yet, but it's super important. Across the whole day, without human trust in technology, none of this is possible. And it's based on the trust that you may have on the Dove brand. You're familiar with Dove soap bars. Based on that trust, you may want to give us access to your microbiome data. Possibly nutrition data, activity, sleep data from your wearable straight that we can plug in. Maybe your DNA data. Maybe the weather as well, and all of which plays an important role in understanding any imbalances on your microbiome, right? So we'll take these highly personalized and deep data, and we'll apply all our codified science algorithms and run hundreds of thousands of simulations leveraging quantum and so on, until we find the right formulation for you. Sourced with ingredients from bio sources and procured from suppliers near you, so the right product for you and the right product for the planet. We'll send that specification directly to a nano factory in your vicinity where your soap will be created with no waste, positive net zero impact, and you will be able to see proof of this through a blockchain-enabled certificate that you can trust. Once the soap is ready, it will be sent over to you by drone via one of our logistics partners, ready to use for when you need it. After use, you may be able to meet us in the digital metaverse. You might want to give us feedback, or become brand ambassador, or maybe even collaborate with us on our next product. And with your permission, we may want to, or we may be able to store all of this data in your digital twin so that we can build a more meaningful relationship going forward. Now, this may or may not happen, but as we move towards that end state, if you like, we hope as a company to be able to reestablish or contribute to reestablish the balance that I was talking to you about at the beginning of my presentation between people through access to hygiene and healthcare for all, the planet through the use of biodegradable ingredients, and energy through the use of processes that have no waste and are net zero positive. Or in other words, what we call at Unilever, innovating for people and planet. Thank you very much.